What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the studio where the sound of sports is heard. And that was a very eventful Game 7. Who would have thought a couple months ago that Kawhi Leonard would have lost to the Denver Nuggets? It blows my mind. I cannot believe that it turned out that way. But I think this game says two things. One, maybe Kawhi Leonard isn't as good as we thought he was. And two, Paul George might be the most unclutched superstar in this league. He has blown these type of moments time and time again. Paul George just has not lived up to his expectations. He's not been he's not been clutch whatsoever since he's entered this league. He's not had there's a few game winners, but in the playoffs, Paul George in the playoffs has been extremely disappointing on every level. So that's the first thing it tells us. And the second thing it tells us is maybe Kawhi Leonard isn't the best player in the league like we thought he was a season ago. Look, we saw Kawhi Leonard last year have an amazing playoff run, and he carried the Raptors to a championship. I'm not taking that away from him. I don't think they would have won the championship without him. But now we look at this year, and we look at what the Raptors did without Kawhi. They almost advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals, and I wouldn't have been surprised. I know a lot of you wouldn't have been surprised if the Raptors beat the Celtics in Game 7 and advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals. And if they advanced, I wouldn't have been surprised if they made the finals. The Raptors were just that good. So what I'm trying to say is the Raptors had, I'm pretty sure, the same seed they did with Kawhi Leonard, and they looked good in the playoffs. Yeah, they lost in Game 7 in the bubble, but in my opinion, the Raptors are just as good without Kawhi. Yeah, of course, they're not going to win a finals, so I really can't say that with any logic, but I think they're going to be just fine without him. Now, with Kawhi on the Clippers, with Paul George, with Doc Rivers on a great team, with the best bench by far in the NBA, he wasn't able to advance. So maybe Kawhi Leonard isn't that best player in the league we thought he was a year ago. Now, if he won the finals this year, if he maybe even made it to the Eastern Conference Finals and lost to a Game 7 to LeBron, maybe Kawhi Leonard would still be in that conversation, but he didn't. He didn't even make the Eastern Conference Finals with Paul George, with that bench, with Doc Rivers. So, while I do think Kawhi Leonard is definitely a superstar, maybe he's just not as good as we thought he was. Thank you guys so much for watching The Sound of Sports. Make sure you guys go check out my TikTok. I always appreciate you guys watching my videos, and of course, have a good one.